Hey there, welcome back to Shiny Object Moms. I'm Sarah. This is for all of you ADHD moms out there. Today we're going to talk about crafts and hobbies, because if there's one thing that we love, it is crafts and hobbies. So in this very special video today, I'm going to go over some of the benefits to taking the time to learn a new craft or hobby and doing it regularly. And then also I'm going to talk about some examples of the different categories of hobbies, some of the things that I've gotten into, just to give you some ideas. And I'll have a special guest appearance with my teenage daughter. She's going to show us some of the crafts that she's worked on. She's super creative. So yeah, I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I hope you get inspired to do something fun and new. So let's get started. Some of the benefits to taking the time to learn different crafts, to work on them, to try different hobbies is it's just necessary to feed the creative parts of our brain. And I remember my whole life, I was like, boy, I really wish I could draw. I really wish I was creative like that. I wish I could paint. Artists are so amazing. Like, I'm not creative at all. And I just kind of lied to myself and was just not willing to try things or practice them, I guess. And I just assumed, I pigeonholed myself into a spot where I thought that I wasn't creative, and so I didn't try a lot of these things. And as an adult, I'm kind of realizing, hey, I actually am pretty creative. I think everybody who has ADHD is really, really creative, and we have to feed that creativity part of our brains. So I feel like these sorts of things are necessary. It also helps us a lot with, novelty. It gives us a lot of dopamine. It lets your mind wander in some cases so that you can actually think about other things. You're more rested. Your brain is like a little bit more rested. And also at other times, it makes it so that you have to focus, like you have to laser focus so that you're not thinking about other things. So another great benefit is it can get you really active. There are different hobbies that will get you outside, will get you active, might get you involved with other people. Some crafts and hobbies are also going to hit something else that I consider us ADHDers really need, and that is helping other people or making a difference. I have always wanted to do that, and I think that that is a common quality, that we want to go out and make a difference, make the world a better place. We don't really need to focus on just one craft or one hobby. It is best for us to have multiple crafts and hobbies, and as we get tired of one, we rotate to the next one, get tired of that one, rotate, and we make it back around to the beginning. So we talked about the benefits of having hobbies and crafts. Some of the categories that I managed to put them into was crafts, music, reading or learning, or my favorite, research, bigger projects, and active hobbies. So in the first category of crafts, the ways that they can benefit us is they really feed that creativity part. It kind of hits that creativity itch in your brain. It also is very inspiring. It can be beneficial because it's inspiring. It also allows your brain, your mind to wander. It also allows your mind to rest. I think it's important to know what benefits we're reaping from doing these hobbies and crafts. It's not just like, oh, I'm just gonna go color a picture. It's like, no, I'm actually benefiting myself. I'm resting my brain. I am rejuvenating my brain. So that's some of the ways I see crafts helping. And some examples of crafts would be something I just started, which is macrame. I've really enjoyed. It's just like tying knots and ropes, but they look so cool. You could crochet. I've heard a lot of ADHDers say they crochet, or scrapbook. And cue my teenage daughter and some of her cool crafts. All right, so as promised, here is my teenage daughter, and she makes tons and tons of different crafts. She's super creative. Everything she makes looks really cool. So what are some of the different crafts that you routinely like to make?
Well, I like to make these cat masks, and I recently started working on this project, which is a dino mask and just a bunch of foam. And then I have a very large tail that took me about a month to make because I kept procrastinating. But this is just foam and fur and a lot of sewing time.
Yeah, and then that was one of the things that I had mentioned is it's nice to be able to start a project and then you can come back around to it when you get bored of it and work on another craft. Are there any other crafts or hobbies that you like to regularly do?
Well, I do make a lot of bracelets and other beaded things, which is called candy. Kandy.
Okay.
Spelled that wrong. And I also play video games with my friends. Sometimes I like to draw or paint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I recently started video editing. And
How often or like how much time do you feel like you work on different crafts and hobbies?
well, a lot of the time I'm tired and just getting out of school, so
Yeah.
I don't really work on them that much during the weekdays. But if I do have energy, I try to think of one of the projects that I'm working on and then get work done on that.
Mm-hmm.
So I say I just spend like an hour to half an hour or like just a few hours working on crafts whenever I have energy.
Yeah. I think you probably, maybe, I don't know if this is true for you, but like sometimes I'll spend time like mentally planning things and like thinking through how I want to do something, even if I can't work on it right then.
Yeah, no, I do that a lot.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being on my channel.
I'll ask my mom to link my channel in the description.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yes, I will definitely link your channel in the description.
Bye bye.
So the next category is music. Music is super beneficial because typically it's going to make you pretty active. It can also be really inspiring, which is something that I found that I've had a lot of trouble with sometimes. It's just like being inspired or feeling that excitement. And obviously it's still a creative outlet, but obviously some of these are going to be examples you've thought of before. But music examples are listening to music, doing anything. I actually have this really nice monster speaker that I'll put outside, and I'll be outside with my kids a lot. I have a toddler. We're outside as much as possible, and I'll just play music while we're out there, and it just really brings a lot of life to what we're doing. It could be a lot of fun to write music, sing. I started doing something called light whipping not too long ago, which you saw in the intro and you're probably seeing right now, but it's like a form of dance and lights, and it's just so pretty. Next category I have for you is I wanted to call it research, but I think like reading and learning would be more accurate. I just freaking love research. So some of the benefits would be you are resting. Typically when you're reading, you're kind of sitting or relaxing. You're learning and maybe letting your mind wander as well, especially if you're reading a novel. You're kind of like getting involved into the story and might not be thinking about other things. Examples of this kind of a hobby would be researching ADHD or like learning more about your brain. I started watching some of Dr. Amen's podcasts about your brain, and it was just amazing to see how ADHD and everything else in your brain coincides and how you can, make yourself healthier and feel better. You could develop an ADHD toolkit, which is something I've been working on too, and maybe in a future episode. You can read books. The last two categories are like bigger projects and then active hobbies. Bigger projects would be something where you're like bettering yourself or like your environment where you are. It could be getting involved in the community. This could be something like writing a book or, making your home more functional and beautiful, which is something I've been working on. Decluttering, which is the new buzzword, just getting rid of all the crap in your house that you didn't realize was piling up, and making your home more of a place that's a safe haven and not just stuff everywhere, but more of a place that you feel calm and comfortable, where everything is where you expect it to be. You can find it. Everything is a lot easier, that sort of a thing, instead of just working against yourself. Other activities that might involve the community, like something I just tried doing not long ago, was having a tea party. And I was able to invite a few of my lady friends over and set up the table really cute. So it was both creative and it was a little bit bigger project because I had to put everything together, but it's something that I could do over and over again. You could do any sort of writing. Projects that include writing can be quite large. Then there's some of what I would consider the more obvious active hobbies, which is cooking, gardening, exercise, videography, photography. These are things that'll get you active, will get you outside, get you better at certain things that you enjoy. So which of the things that I listed today would you want to try, or have you tried? Or maybe you have a hobby or craft that you do that you think is just like really odd or really different or unique. I would love to hear about it in the comments. And then I have just a few hot tips left for you. And if there's a hobby that I talked about today that you're interested in learning more about, then I would love to hear about that too in the comments, so I know, what you guys are looking for. All right, I have 3 hot tips left for you before we finish this video. Tip number 1 is start small before buying a whole bunch of crap. I know, all or nothing. I feel you. I wanted to start getting into macrame. I'm like, I'm gonna buy all the cord and the dowels, and I'm like, no, how about I just buy a beginner kit and make sure I actually like tying a whole bunch of knots before I buy a bunch of this other stuff that costs some money. Tip number 2, if you don't like it, that's okay. You don't have to keep doing it. I drew a picture one day and I was like, this is terrible. And then like a few days later, I drew a different picture and I was like, okay, this is a little better. But I wasn't like, oh, I'm just a quitter because I can't draw. It's like, you like it or you don't like it, and that's okay. And here's tip number 3, which is something I mentioned earlier. And that is, if you don't think that you're creative, you are. All of us who have ADHD are creative in one way or another. Maybe it's not a way that's whatever, normal, or whatever everybody else might think is creative, but you are creative, and you just have to figure out what it is that you like doing and that you can learn how to do better, and you might not be just perfect at the first time you do it. So it is meant to be beneficial for you, your mind and your body, and that's all there is to it. You're supposed to enjoy it. You have to make time for it so that you can enjoy it, and that's about it. Hope you guys are inspired today, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.